you went through. Is this a case of lack of proper preparation, like everyone else was required to undergo, or a case of you just wanting to to be seen as a victim, to get huruma?
Mark, I stepped out to run for office in April of last year. So there had been a lot of sufficient preparation for the journey ahead. And I would say that it is the IEBC that has not been prepared enough to be able to help us not just comply, but also offer a fair and a very good process for this year's election. They gazette the procedure on 19th January, and imagine that the booklets to collect signatures, for example, are not available until mid-April. And then you're given about 3 to 4 weeks to go around the country and collect signatures. But then they had a caveat this time. You also needed to collect copies of IDs, right, of registered voters in majority counties, meaning 24 out of the 47. So who was not prepared?
You had all your papers in check, you said, on May 25th.
So I'm coming first from the process side,
right,
where IEBC gazettes in January, but begins to avail those materials in April of this year. That's just barely 2 months ago. And all the 55 candidates, apparently, are supposed to comply and get this these signatures ready within that time. I have clips online indicating my launch of the signature collection in Uasin Gishu County. And we have gone around the counties. You know, some people are cooperative to give you their IDs. Some will say, no way, no way. And so it was a harrowing process. For me, as someone living with disability, it's not about just collecting signatures. I've got to have assistants who look at these people's IDs, verify, and so on, because I cannot look at pictures.
But you have the assistants and they verify the same.
Yes. So we went all the way and we did our best. And then we had friends who are independents, MCAs, MPs, as well as governors and so on around the country that we also teamed up with, because they agree with our manifesto, they agree with our ideas. So some of those actually helped us with the ID copies because they were collecting on our behalf.
Right.
It was teamwork. So on 23rd, let me back up. On the 16th, we are gazetted. I present my running mate and all that. 23rd, we have a pre-nomination meeting with Chairman Chebukati at Bomas of Kenya. All of us, candidates, aspirants. And he says by 25th, you should have tabled these documents to commence the process. And, people say extend. He says table them fast. And, if you have any challenge, you'll be guided and so on. So here's the fact. I walk into Bomas I drove into Bomas with my team just before 5 o'clock on the 25th. Okay, on the 25th of May, I have
before 5 o'clock, which is a deadline.
You see,
or is it midnight?
5 o'clock is what you would call the working deadline.
Right.
If you are in there by 5 o'clock, you can be served, just like it is in a bank.
Okay.
So I was there, and what is interesting, contrary to the chairman's allegations, is that our papers were actually received. The first batch was actually taken from us, and we were told that the rest of the signatures are not in order. Go and process them so that you have the right format and bring the Excel sheets as well in soft. So, but they insisted you must bring all this back by the 29th. So they gave me that kind of extension. The chairman says I did not present my papers by 5 p.m., therefore, I was disqualified. Guess what? I was there in person, Mark.
Right.
So that's a blunt lie.
So if you're disqualified on the 25th, what's this you say that you were given a chance to come on the 29th?
So here's it. We have 26 counties, they pick 3 and say, most of this material is actually not in order. Go process it and make sure it's here by the 29th.
Right.
So on 29th May at 1 p.m., we drive back to Bomas. I have clips online indicating my opening of the boxes and showing the different counties right there at Bomas. Now, guess what? The same officials that told us to come on the 29th were there. And we tell them, so here we are to present the materials. And they say, but there is a problem, you know, now we can't receive them unless the returning officer, you know, tells us that we can receive them. That is where the problem begins.
And why wasn't the returning officer there?